Hi, this is Susan of MyMinimadeness, and I wanted to show you my memory room box. It's Christmas, and it's supposed to be set in the late 50s into the 60s. And what inspired this was I found this card, and upon opening it, it's illustrated with Santa. He's taking a nap, and the reindeer are trying to wake him. And what when I looked at this, I realized this was my birth announcement. So I thought, I want to commemorate that time. And because the funny thing, my brother thought that Santa Claus brought me. He was 3.5 years older, and they had told him he was going to have a baby brother or baby sister. And so he really thought Santa Claus brought me until I didn't come with all the presents. And so it was later that night. So then he thought that Santa delivered me to the hospital. And that was a cute story because he kept trying to chin up on my dad to look in Mom's coat, her big flannel coat. And so he just kept trying, and so my father said, "Well, what are you doing?" And he said, "I want to see my baby sister." And he thought I was wrapped in the coat because they were going home with the coat. So anyway, this is my room box to remind me of that time. And also I wanted to make some I Love Lucy furniture, and it didn't turn out exactly like hers because I was trying to make it from memory. But, that show started in 1951. And if you watched it, you noticed that there was furniture changes. And when I was looking at it later, which I didn't know that on YouTube, they have a walkthrough of the set that had the furniture that I liked. And it shows the kitchen where all the zany stuff happens. And so the show, I Love Lucy, had 5 sets of furniture between the apartment and then the house in the country. So I'll show you these things. But I wanted you to see the tree. And it's lit up with this little box right here. If you can see that. It's wrapped like a present. And that's this company that made Mini Tree, and it was a seed bead tree. And this was my first tree. It's in a glass cloche and had toys all at the bottom. But they lit their trees up. And in my other video that shows my Christmas store, I said I would try to find some information because you could go on eBay and possibly find all these little ornaments. They're toy and cookie-shaped ornaments that they sold in little packets, extra packets. They even had icicles. So anyway, it's Mini Tree. Seems like the name of it. And it's West Trim Crafts down at the bottom there. So, and they really are a good scale because I've used them in a lot of different things. And if you go over to my Christmas store, you'll see that Christmas tree with all those little decorations on it. And you can see the scale. Now, this Christmas tree is little ornaments I made. And, they're made out of the plastic beads. And the plastic beads come with glitter, or they come with faceted, or they come with kind of like a snowy look. Or you can have a clear teardrop. And let me show you. This is all that I made. And so you just take a little piece of wire and a little seed bead and the little filigree, stamped filigree top, and just put the little seed bead up on your wire as you round it, and then dip it in glue and then stick it through this little filigree bead cap and poke that down in the hole. And there you go, let it dry. And you can make all different colors. And so I just really like my mom really liked the silver. And so I wanted to do things that reminded me of Mom, reminded me of Dad, and reminded me of my brothers, being the older brother, that first Christmas. And I normally have the baby, me, in the bassinet sitting over here, but it is kind of crowded. So I took her out, I took her out, the baby, so that you could see everything else. And I made the couch, and I made the chair, and I made the TV. And if you see this little table, I got it off Temu recently, and then they ran out of them. I needed another one to go on the other side. The fireplace, it doesn't look like the I Love Lucy, but I needed it to be able to put the minis on. And so we're just using that one. So the tree, I wanted to tell you about these icicles, but I cannot find the material. Okay, if you know what gold lame looks like, it's a shiny gold color, real thin, almost, kind of tissuey. But this is silver lame, and someone had asked me to make them something, and I had a little bit of it left over, and I came across it, and it was fraying really bad. And as I was pulling the pieces out, I was looking at them, and I go, this looks like icicles. So I was like, oh my gosh, I can do the icicle tree because my mom likes silver. And so that's what I did. And so if you want to do what icicles, don't you remember the icicles? Well, you might be too young to remember icicles, but I think more ended up on us kids throwing it at each other than it ever ended up on the tree, and definitely more on the floor. And I know that my mom dreaded, one year she dreaded it so much. It was probably early February before we took the tree down. She just closed the living room door and didn't want to deal with it. Maybe late January. But that was pretty funny because I was like, Mom, we got to go take the monster tree down. And it was a big one. Someone had brought it to us, and it was such a huge tree. And anyway, so let's look at things. I made the poinsettias, and I talked about that in the Christmas store, how they're made. And so I did find the paper and the punches. And so I wanted to show those to you. So let's look at the lamp. Okay, so it's a bead, and it's got a bead cap at the bottom. And if you put the wire stem up and then put a circle in it, then you have something to glue your lampshade to, and then a little cord with a bead on the end. And I have some silver prongs in it, and you can do that. Make a lamp. I made that so long ago. And then there's the candies, the stick candy and the ribbon candy. And these are little glass beads, and I saw these on Temu just the other day. They might be a little bit bigger, I'm not sure. But I did see them, that they had the green and the red stripe. Okay, these are those little flats that they had all different shapes, and they were at Hobby Lobby, and I saw some still, I don't know if they were sold out of the little gingerbread men, but I did see some of these little flat plastic pieces. And okay, I wanted to show you this, that my friend made these, and I was, when I first met her, she told me she tatted, and I wanted her to make me some doilies, and she worked with a thicker string, and it was easier for her, and she made them for me, but then things fall over, when you place them on them because they're thick. So I asked her, could you possibly make it out of thread so it'd be just the thinnest? And she amazed me. She did. She made it out of thread. And this variegated thread is so beautiful. And I just think that that was such a labor of love. And she sells things on Etsy. If anybody's interested, I will give you her name. I think her store is not, she doesn't have it going because she moved and had a grandbaby and has been busy. But she takes orders of any kind of tatted things. And so I want to show you this. Do you remember on I Love Lucy, the reruns, of course, how she wanted to do a commercial? She wanted to be an actress so bad. She wanted to be a dancer. She wanted to be everything. So a singer. Oh, yes, she wanted to be a singer. So she did a commercial inside the TV, and then I think Ricky plugged the TV in and it blew up, trying to teach her a lesson. He was always trying to teach her a lesson. But so I wanted a TV in here. I could have put a table, but definitely wanted a TV to remind me of the funny things that she did. So these are just quarter round. I think they're like about a quarter square. And there's, on 4 sides. This one faces forward. This one more faces. Well, I say that's what they are, but maybe not. This one is a flat. This is a flat piece, and with another little piece right in here, a smaller square. And then, of course, just rectangles. But the bottom is one piece that's beveled. It's one thicker piece. The top is 3 pieces, and they're all beveled. And so you just make them graduating, and then bevel them. And then this is a little piece of wood across here. And this is fabric, like textured fabric, like the couch and chair. It was a sample piece. And then I just painted it gold because they were always textured. It went over the speakers, and they were always gold. So this is a piece of plastic, and behind it was some kind of smoky color, kind of blue smoky color piece of paper out of a magazine. I just thought it looked like the right color. So if you want to make a TV, there you go. It's not that tough. But the thing that all, like Gretchen will tell you, Little Gretchen's workshop, they'll all tell you that you've got to stain everything before you paint it. Because I got in a hurry, it was getting late, and I wanted to get it done, and I didn't do it. I might have done it on a few pieces, and then I got in a hurry. And so sure enough, here's what happens, is you can't stain a piece that's had glue get on it. And so I did work with the alcohol paint pens to try to correct it. And that's the best it came out. So, lesson learned. You've got to stain before you glue. Okay, here's my little chair. I don't have my mom's coat made yet. I needed to find the right fabric. So that was why I put this little lap blanket on it. But I went back, because I saw it on an episode, and I went back and I saw it on YouTube, and this was more squared off. And they had this same kind of squared look across the cushion front here. And then there was a chair that had an arm that matches the couch, but I like the armless because it gave it a smaller profile. But for the mid-century modern, it really should be squared. And so if you want the square, I like rounded off. I'm just a rounded person, but it didn't bother me when I went back and saw that it was very squared. Oh, got some glue. But if you want to make it look more like the original, then go and look on YouTube at the furniture. Someone actually videoed the furniture, and it's in there. Okay, so let's see. Here's the poinsettia I made. Whoops. Let's get that back. And these are what they call suede. I called it velvet paper, but it's called suede. And it comes in white, green, red, blue, other colors. And I used a punch Now, this is a wood turning. You know, they have those at all the craft stores, definitely at Hobby Lobby. They come in little packages of different shapes. And, different shapes. And then I used these 2 punches. This is the larger one that's the green on the back and the back end of the red. The larger, it's Fisker's. And this one is the smaller, that's just the single here at the very front. And then I took a regular hole punch and nipped out, just nipped the edges out. It's not a corner, but it's an edge. Just nipped it out to make it come to a peak, a random peak. And then the center is a piece of wire with a seed bead glued onto it. And then I put glue on it. Once it dried, I put glue on that and dipped it in flocking. And then punched holes through the 5 pieces, because it'll be 2 green, 2 red, and a small red. And so you punch holes through the middle, come down with your wire, and stab into your putty or whatever you have in your wood turning. Okay, so I think it turns out real pretty, and the concept, you can make any shaped flower. And let's see if I can get this out of here without turning over Santa. This was at Hobby Lobby. It was just too cute, and then I made the little whiskers that, you know, for dress up that you have to have. And they still have that Santa suit this year. So here is this, it was off, it came, this is just how it came, but this was squared. And right here I had a little problem with not having enough material, and I think I pulled it too far in. But if I had it to do over, I'd of course try to square it a little bit, but I don't really mind. And she had 1 pillow that she was sleeping on at one time, so I made 1 pillow. But it really had 1 arm. There was another version, I think, that had 2 arms, and it had a split between it here. But this version that came after that one, had 1 arm, and it stopped short because Ethel would sit right here. So anyway, it was a low profile, and you can't really tell the color, but I saw that it was navy on YouTube, where they had videotaped it at the studio. But I like this material, and I like this color, and it goes with the rug. And I've been looking, there's one thing I want to add to this, and that is the window. I've been looking for the material, because that time they had like a big botanical. It was like a big palm leaf or something like that, and I want to put that right here. And then what I'll end up doing is I'll use, a skewer over this so that this won't be a problem. I didn't really want to cut this off, and the curtains will come down on each side, and that'll fill in this area where this stands out, and then I'll just put a winter scene behind it. But I was thinking I would wait for the summer to come, the fabrics to change, and I might find that palm. But that was common. I saw that when I was looking at YouTube videos of people's old Christmas reels, 35mm reels, and there it was, that same fabric that I'd seen before. So let's pull Santa out of here, and he's checking his list, and I wanted to tell you about a few things. These roller skates right here, my mom took us, let's see, can you see them? Maybe not. See down there, there's roller skates, and there's a little turtle, and I'll tell you the story about the roller skates and the turtle. My mom took us roller skating all the time, and so we just grew up on skates, and she thought it was very important that I learn how to dance on skates, because she could. She they'd waltz around on skates. Of course, we were just, wanting to just charge around the rink, just chasing each other and I don't know what all, but, roller skates were the thing. And that was just so much fun. We did it every weekend. We'd, look forward to getting to go to the roller skating palace. And everybody would meet there. And it was just so much fun. And I'll always have such good memories. And I'd go skating today, as long as it was roller skates. Anyway, so I wanted to put those in there because that was my mom. And she said that when they were young, that they played cards. So I put cards here on this table. And my mom was an avid reader. And so I put the Scarlet Letter for her to have something to read. And so that's what those are about. Was just those memories. Okay, so when I was a little girl, this is Charlotte. When I was a little girl, she was in a terrarium. She was a little box turtle. I got this turtle off Temu if you need a turtle. And she was in a terrarium, and one day she took a leap out of the terrarium and fell like 3 feet maybe. Because it was up on a 2-tier shelf in the kitchen, and oh my gosh, that was so traumatic. And I was probably 9 or 10, and I looked for Charlotte everywhere. I had everybody looking for Charlotte, and we couldn't find her in the kitchen, and then we couldn't find her in the living room. We couldn't find her in the dining room, anywhere. We couldn't find her. And one morning at 6:30 in the morning, my mother shrieks, "I found Charlotte." And what had happened, she had gone all the way down the hall and gone into their room, and she had gone into the closet and crawled around, I guess, and crawled into one of Mother's shoes. And so apparently it was a pair of shoes she hadn't worn in a couple of weeks. And so there was Charlotte, but she was alive. She was dehydrated, but she was alive. So I was so glad to know that, that I just find her. I was just going to take her anyway. I got her. But anyway, she had such a big adventure that Bentley House Minis, she likes to leave a symbol of herself, and she leaves a shoe in her makes and in her builds. And so I thought, that's such a neat idea that I would like to do that. And I was trying to think of something that, would be memorable. And I thought about Charlotte's big adventure for 2 weeks. And so I thought that she would enjoy going through all my room boxes. And so that's how I came up with putting Charlotte into my room boxes. And I've had fun putting her in all of the ones I've made before. So anyway, this was a little toy from my childhood. And Queen City Minis, she takes all these little plastic things that she finds at Goodwill, and she does a faux finish on them. That's Shira at Queen City Minis. She does fabulous faux finishes. They look so good, and you just couldn't imagine that they were plastic. And here's a little pipe cleaner teddy bear. How cute is that? I guess I should show you the baby. Here's the baby. The baby in the bassinet. And there's a little duck and a little rattle and a baby bottle and a baby book. And the funny story about the baby book is that my mom used to tell me throughout my life, she said, "You didn't come with an instruction book." Well, Dr. Spock wrote a book about how to raise kids and babies. And so I would tell her back. I said, "Mom, Dr. Spock wrote a book. You could have read it." And so if anybody ever finds the cover of Dr. Spock's book and knows how to miniaturize it, I would love to have that. Please message me, because that would just make my baby book complete for the memory box. So here's all the toys, and you probably recognize these toys from for like my brother, and the plane, and the little truck, and the Jack in the Box. And I made these little stockings. They're felt, and I'll show you one closer up. Here's one. It's got these flat beads, and you can find these flats either, with the Christmas stuff or with scrapbooking, and you just cut the loop off the back if it's made like a button. But they did have, I saw these both this Christmas, so they may have some left if you're interested. And they go, you can put them on wreaths, you can put them on a lot of stuff, and they really do go far. Now, we stitched these, my girlfriend and I got together to make these just to have fun together. And so we stitched them, and I thought that looked better than gluing, so I recommend that. Now the top is glued on, but I do recommend you stitch around. You could stitch a different color too, and that would be pretty. And I wanted to show you this. I bought this at a thrift store, and I remember my mother bought satin balls, and I was thinking this would just be wonderful on a tree. And I got a cream color and a pink color, so there's other colors. But I think these are so pretty. And it looks like the satin might be wrapped all the way around, but you'd want to put a little bit of glue on each end to make sure it didn't unwrap if you could find these. But I remember there was a time when there were satin beads. And when I was talking about in my Christmas store, I kept saying about the Mardi Gras beads. And so I wanted to show you, if there's anyone that doesn't know about Mardi Gras beads, they come in every color and all kinds of designs. And these are really pretty with the disco ball. And they're faceted. And so they come in the small and they come in the bigger. And these are great for making, you'll have to drill a hole, because you know that the string doesn't come out of them. You'd have to drill a hole, but they're good for making like ornaments in a box and ornaments on a wreath. So let's see. This is one of my favorite things in here, and I wanted to tell you quickly how I like to make those. And let me show you my gold version. This is the gold one. And I want you to notice that there's a seed bead and there's a wire, just like the way I made the ornaments with the little seed bead and the wire. Can you see that small? Let's see if you can see it up against my hand. See, it's got the wire. Oops. Let's get a darker color. Maybe you can see the darker color better. But I think it's important to, every now and then, put the seed bead in the wire in with it. And then I've got a little bell, and I've got the snowflakes. And so here's, if you haven't made, I would just love to make one of these in full scale. But here's, you can see, I tried to draw this out. So this might be a small one. And the importance of this plastic. Okay, this is a nickel. This is like a dollar coin. This is like a quarter. And this would be like about 3/8 of an inch out from that. And the importance about plastic is for two reasons. One, you need to glue onto something. Now, I peeled this one off plastic, and then I realized later when I went to put this up, it fell so many times. And if you're going to do anything on the wall, don't use the Dollar Tree stickers, glue dots. They don't stay. It just kept falling. This kept falling, kept falling, kept falling. The one to get is the Michaels. Well, Michaels had them, and they're this glue dot. And it says permanent, and they're just called glue dots, adhesive. This one's a mini dot, and I got it at Michael's, but I think Hobby Lobby had them as well. Looks like it's made in the USA, but they're called glue dots. And these are mini. These are small, but they're permanent. And these are holding. These have held for days. Where the Dollar Tree ones, they're fine for like putting underneath something like this maybe, but they do not hold for the wall. So anyway, you need the plastic, and don't pull it off with the glue. Go ahead and cut the plastic from around it, because you need that to put the glue dots. It'll give a flat surface for you to put onto your paper, and put 3 or 4, and then it'll hold, because this is amazing to me. They're smaller dots than what I used from the other brand, and then they didn't stay. And so I would cut out the center. I draw your template, maybe not in black because it's going to be in the way of cutting it out, but draw your center and cut it out so you won't have to try to cut in between after you make it. Cut it out and then finish this, letting it let the glue dry, and then go and cut this out from around the outer edge. And the next thing I like to do with these is put a satin ribbon. Let's see. Here's my red satin ribbon. Is to take, let me pull this out. I sent one of these to Whitney LaBrie, and I hope she likes that satin ribbon. I particularly like it. I just like to stick it through and then make a big bow. Just make a big bow out of it, and then you can hang it from the big bow, and then that just gives it more loveliness. So give one of these a try. These are so fun. And I think it's a cute gift. And you can put felt on the back. If you don't want the plastic, you could put felt. I started out putting felt, but then I didn't think it stuck to the wall as well as the plastic. I had some other wreaths I wanted to show you that I thought were sweet. And I wanted to show you this one. This is made from pipe cleaner. This is 4 pipe cleaners. So if you added a 5th, it might fill it in even more. But I did a pipe cleaner one on my store, so go and look at it. And if you like the contemporary, with lots of glitz, then that's your thing to do, is use the pipe cleaners. This one is sweet, and it's just using the Mardi Gras beads. And this is that wired ribbon. And this wired ribbon's great for using on the Christmas tree. Because of the wire, you can drape it. And a friend made me these, and I wanted to show you how pretty they are. She did such a pretty job. And she made these adorably sweet topiaries. And I hadn't thought about these, and I came across them. And I haven't made a topiary yet, so I'm going to have to rush and make a topiary before Christmas is over, because it is just around the corner. I wish this was my second video. This is my first time to put on videos, so I would have done them a lot sooner if I'd had the nerve to do it, but I finally built up the nerve, and I'm just hoping that you like them until I get a lot better. I've ordered all the bells and whistles to try to do a better video, and the microphone and the stands and all. So I've got to wait for that to come in. So anyway, aren't those precious? Didn't she do a good job? Really sweet. And it looks like she took a ball and put glue, or maybe painted it silver, put glue, and then dipped it into a real fine glitter. And this is wired ribbon so that she could shape it. And then that's just like a piece of wire, but a thick wire, and then it's down into whatever glue that she used, whatever, and then she topped more glitter on that. It's just so pretty. I made this, And this is just that little sign that said Merry Christmas. And I was thinking this would be really pretty if you were into seashells, to put little seashells along with your pine cones, maybe. The color, blue with the little misty silver on it. Be pretty. And these are those little pieces that have their little buttons, that you cut the button off of, and just put a little stand under it. There you go. Got a little decor piece. I made these last year. These are using those colored glue sticks. So you can see the green, the gold, the red. And I was trying to play with them and see if I liked them and what I could do with them. And so I dripped down after I, cut them first and then put little wire into them. I dripped down some more of the gold onto them and put them on this little round. These rounds are good. They're called I think it's a brass stamped filigree round. That's what they call them. They're good because, like, you might make a tray or a riser, for some perfume bottles or something. But you can paint these. This one's silver. You can paint these, and they look like doilies. And that's really flat too for your surface. And these trays are really great. These are jewelry findings, and they're great for frames. They're not too thick, and you can paint them and make it a tray for your perfume bottles, for your vanity, for any of the pretty things. Those are real nice. And so let me think of anything else that I wanted to show you. I made this this mirror. This is just that reflective paper that I cut to put inside of this mirror. It was a jewelry piece. And I guess this is another thing that's really fun, is if you print out some Christmas theme, miniature card size. I just took a pipe cleaner and folded it over and then put a punched out snowflake at the top, and then hung and I remember my mom liked to hang them on ribbons. She would hang the cards down on ribbons, and she liked that. Let me see if there was anything else I wanted to show you. That I know that Christmas is almost over. Here's my ribbon, and I do this by taking pins and put them in a piece of foam. And here's the example, and I just wrap the ribbon, and I glue it, and I wrap it, and I glue it, and I wrap it, and I glue it, and I wrap it, and glue it. And then I move the pins in a little smaller and do the same thing and wrap it. And then I stick a pin in the middle, let it dry overnight, and then put a little small loop in the middle, little small loop right there to cover, the center of the glued pinhole. And so that's what it turns out to be. This is just a thin lame. This is lame. This is lame that I was talking about. It's not the fabric, but it's lame ribbon. And so it turns out real cute. So you might give it a try. That's just the way I made ribbons. And if you have a better way of making ribbons, put it in the message, because there just might be a much simpler. It's probably a ribbon maker or something that's so small like that. But I'd love to hear about it. Let's see. I think that's it. Oh, I wanted to show you that I found this at Dollar Tree. And this is 3D, and I've used it before. I used it on the cookies that I have in my Christmas store that are in the blister pack. And I just bought this recently. So it was $1.25. And it's great for snow, and it's great for icing if you're making cakes and cookies and things like that. look for it. It's 3D paint, and it was at Dollar Tree. And I'll show you a few more things that I found this year. This was at Hobby Lobby, and these are pretty poinsettias if you need them for decor. And then little holly pieces. I had those, and they had the little candies that they have every year. They did have those again. And these were little bells. Oh my gosh, they had all kinds of little bells, but these were so pretty and so dainty, and they could be ornaments. So you might look for those. And, you know, of course, it's great to get everything on sale. And they had these again. These. And those are good for decor and for putting on your, the outside of your decorations or your wreath. Okay, here's the wood turnings that I made the base of the poinsettia. So they had those in different sizes, and they had these. These are really lovely, and these would make great earrings, but I just thought they were real dainty, small stripes, so I just got a package. Of course, they have the wire ones that are real small, and then they had the gold pine cones, and I bought a new bag of the white pine cones with the berries.